What up? What up? What up? Welcome to the Live Game Season 2, the conference championships,
Woo!
the average man's perspective on football, also your favorite show on YouTube. I am your co-host, Marcus. Joining me on the panel tonight, late as usual, Eddie Kane Jr. Say what up, Brian.
I wasn't late. What time is it? Thank you for joining us.
Herman, say what up, Herman.
Hello.
And Mark.
Good evening.
Before we get started, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Help us get those likes up, help us get those views up. Brian, this is your part. You know what to do.
Please follow us, unlike some of the people on this panel, at Delay of Game 3 on Twitter. Live tweet the show. We put out stuff on there all the time. Take advantage.
How do you not follow the show?
I do follow the show. I just don't retweet.
He just didn't retweet the stuff we do.
I don't have any followers. Who I'm going to tweet to?
Well, you probably should have some followers if you're on Twitter.
Well, no, I
mean, would you be on Facebook by yourself?
No, but I'm on Twitter by myself. But anyway, so last week was the divisional round. We had a lot of good games, some very disappointments out of some teams and some certain players. Some high expectations that were met.
I'm sure you was happy about one of the games.
Right.
I was definitely happy about one of the games,
Yeah, okay, all right.
One of the games I was very sad. But go ahead and get it started, Herman.
All right, so welcome to the show. We're going to go ahead and review the games from last week. Like Marcus said, there was some games. I don't know how good they were.
Yeah,
there was some games.
Not as good as the week before.
Yeah, definitely not as good as the week before. But let's go ahead and start off with the 49ers and the Vikings. 49ers defended home field. They came out and they dominated this game. 27-10 was the score. I'll start this one off. I picked this one right. I picked the 49ers. I didn't have any confidence that the Vikings could go in there and
You mean Kirk Cousins?
No, I didn't say Kirk Cousins. I said the Vikings because I think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback that Washington team let go.
Yeah.
But, as a whole, they just couldn't put it together. Kirk, he didn't look too bad. 172 yards, 1 touchdown. He was only 21 for 29. They got nothing out of their run game, and that was a big problem for them. 9 carries for 18 yards from Dalvin Cook. That's just not going to get it for the Vikings. So I picked this one right. I picked the Vikings. Brian, who'd you have?
I was also with Herman on this one. I picked the Vikings, and you're right on that running game, Herman. The running game was non-existent for the Vikings, and the 49ers ran all over them. Coleman had 105 yards on 22 carries and 2 touchdowns. Both the quarterbacks, like Herman said, weren't nothing spectacular. I mean, Garoppolo only threw for 131 yards. He threw a touchdown in the pick just like Cousins did. But it was the defense and the offensive lines of the San Francisco team that dominated this game. The Vikings just never got on track. The first drive, they got down there and they scored, but after that, it was hit or miss. And you could just see that Kirk Cousins was rattled. I forgot how many times he got sacked. 3 times. No. I don't remember how many times. It was, I think it was. It was more than 6.
Yeah.
But there was a interesting stat in this game that the Vikings, when they allowed an opening drive touchdown for another team, that they were 0-3. Wow. So 3 times it happened this year. All 3 times they lost that game.
Cousins was sacked 6 times.
6 times, yeah. The whole game, he was just rattled. He never was comfortable in the pocket. Thielen didn't seem like himself.
No, he wasn't either. He hasn't really been himself since he came back from the injury.
And then Diggs, he was kind of like tripping a little bit, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A little upset he wasn't being used or something to that extent. But the Niners did what they had to do. They won in convincing fashion.
Mark?
Yeah, 49ers is what took in this particular game also. I think the key turning point or key contributor to this was D Ford. He unlocked the pass rush that completely shut down. They also completely shut down Cook as far as the running game. But I think another turning point in the game was the first quarter when the Vikings came out and scored the first touchdown. Cornerback Witherspoon got benched right after that. They put the other cornerback in there, Emmanuel Mosley. And he basically
because that touchdown was some blown coverage, real bad.
Yes. So right after they have that, they gave him a short leash. They yanked him fast, and then they put Mosley in there. He seemed to play, a lot better. But I mean, that pass rush for 49ers was just awesome. You had D Ford back, you had the Alexander back, And I think that made a difference as far as the defense. It just made it easier for the defensive tackle to stay home and play the run, and they just dominated on the line. So
Not to mention
49ers.
Sherman.
Yeah.
Sherman had a nice pick in that game.
Remember, the defensive line had to
That's true.
keep everything
True
down.
that.
and
You're
made
right.
everything else
You're right.
trickle down from there.
Yep.
The key for them too is that they're doing it with their front four.
Yes.
They don't have to blitz.
Yes.
Yep.
The linebackers can go side to side. The corners are tight and the safeties are good.
And they keep a rotation with that defensive line too.
Yeah.
So everybody stays healthy. Stay fresh, enthusiastic, pumped. So it works for them right now. I
Marcus.
took 49ers. I'm sorry.
Marcus.
Of course, I picked 49ers because, of course, Kirk was going to lose that game. It was
Oh, geez.
he wasn't going to make it to the conference championship. I
And
think,
one other point. I think at some point I heard, yeah, how you like me now? I think it came from Virginia side, I think. But anyway, go ahead, Mark.
yeah, so, I mean, like you guys already said, this is a game based on defensive running game by the 49ers. Both quarterbacks' stats were very impressive, under 200 yards for both of them. 1 touchdown, 1 interception for both of them, I believe. And it was just San Francisco. They played to their strengths. They have a excellent defense and an excellent run game. And as long as your quarterback doesn't lose you the game, this is how it turns out. So it was pretty easy to call. I picked the 49ers, and I was right.
And did you see the play where what's his name? Just the defensive end they just drafted. He has the brothers in the
Bosa.
Bosa, where he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see he got up and he was like all cheering and had the crowd going all crazy. They was joking around trying to say he was pulling a Paul Pierce. It's a basketball reference with
And
Paul Pierce.
also, one of the wrestlers do that too. One of the wrestlers, I think.
What, the Undertaker?
Is it,
I don't know. Marcus, what wrestler does it? You was a wrestling fan.
I don't know, probably not. Too.
But that was kind of a funny moment in that game.
All right, so let's move on to probably the biggest shocker of the weekend, but
most disappointing game of the weekend.
Yeah, it was the Tennessee Titans went on the road to the number 1 seed Baltimore Ravens and proceeded to whoop them in Baltimore, 28-12. Ryan Tannehill was 7 for 14 with 88 yards.
Say that again.
7.
No. This part.
Yards passing
88 yards.
and 2
No.
touchdowns.
But 7 completions.
Yeah, but 88 yards. I mean, you can have 100 yards with a completion. You can throw a touchdown pass in one play.
But this is why they won the game. Derrick Henry was 30 carries for 195 yards.
Run, Henry, run!
Grown man. Lamar Jackson, 31 for 59.
Say that again.
31 for 59.
This is going to be another trend this week.
365 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. I'm not sure how many.
Too many passes, man. Too many
Definitely.
passes.
He ran for 143 yards.
He ran for 143?
Yeah.
Eee.
They had like 530 yards of total
There
offense.
was no run game. It was no run defense.
Yeah.
Basically,
Marcus, you start this one off.
so basically, the Titans did to the Ravens what the Ravens do to everybody else.
Pretty
Just-
much.
just
But they
ran-
did it with one person.
Yeah, just one person. I mean, this is to me, it's a very disappointing game. I pretty much had the Ravens for a lock in the Super Bowl after the season they had. But like the stats you gave, it's too much passing for. It shouldn't have thrown that many passes in the game. They were taken out of their game plan, and they never readjusted. So let me give you what the drive summary for the Ravens. First interception, turnover on downs, which they shouldn't have let happen. Punt, field goal, turnover on downs, fumble, interception, touchdown, turnover on downs. You're not going to win like that. I feel like they, as good as a coaching staff as the Ravens have, they never readjusted. They never came out in the second half with a new game plan, and just they were behind, and just Lamar Jackson had to pass too much. 59 passes is way too much for him.
But you know what, Marcus? That's actually kind of the point is that they did get out of their game. They were down by like 8 points and went 4 wide. They took their tight ends out and went to the spread offense.
Panic.
And they panicked, and that's what happened. They went out of there, and they were only down by 8 points.
Yeah, the whole first half, they were down by 7 in the first quarter, and like you said, and then they were down by 8 in in the second quarter. Now, once it got to the third quarter, it got out of hand.
Yeah.
But they started doing this in the
But
second quarter.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, to your point, they just panicked. It seemed like.
So
Mark,
I picked the Ravens, and of course they lost.
yeah, I think we all got this one wrong. Mark.
Yeah, I got it wrong. The Ravens. Stat that stands out to me is the Ravens with 0-4 on fourth downs. Titans were clogging the middle up. I don't know what Harbaugh was thinking about. After the first fourth and short, and I didn't get it, I would have been trying to run back on the middle because that's what they were playing for. They were playing 8 up front. They were trying to stop the run for sure. The other thing was the butt touchdown. Do you guys think that was a touchdown?
I felt like he was out of bounds. I know which play you're talking about. They said his butt cheek.
Oh, the first touchdown on the yeah. Oh yeah. I think because they called it a touchdown on the field, I think it should have stayed.
Yeah, but to me it looked like his body and his butt both hit like simultaneously at the same time.
Yeah.
And
so if they would have
right. Yeah, I think it was just because it was called a touchdown on the field is the only reason why.
Now the only thing, depending on the angle, you saw his feet touch. But I'm not sure if the ball was fully in possession when his feet touched too. So maybe they've been looking at that. But I thought that was kind of interesting. If they would have called a no touchdown, I'd have been completely okay with that.
Yeah.
The other thing was the trick play. Oh my goodness.
Derrick Henry.
the jump pass. Go ahead. Did you see Marcus Mariota was wide open? He was throwing his hand up like, throw me the ball. I thought that was so funny.
They said that play, on the Patriots game when they went for 2, that was the play call, but they decided to change it and use it later. They said, let's not reveal that. Let's just go ahead and change the play. But that was going to be the play call.
But that was a smooth play. He had both. He had, as well as he threw it to Corey Davis, he had Mariota wide open. This is the second year that the Ravens exit early out of the playoffs. That's going to be interesting.
But last year was because San Diego's defense
True.
was more the factor.
True.
Whereas this year, it was more about they could not stop the run.
Well, also, the Titans defense, I mean, they were powerful too. I mean, they stopped everything they wanted to do, everything the Ravens wanted to do, pretty much.
But here's the tale of two tapes. People say the time off kind of hurts teams. When you look at the 49ers, in instance, they had 3 of their starting defensive players hurt before the playoffs. They came back healthy and they rolled. Well, Ravens didn't have, and you go back and question the Pittsburgh game. They sat a lot of their starters.
Yeah.
So you had more time than normal. You had more than just the 2 weeks or the weeks to rest your players. So people argue that all the time. That I think if you're hurt, it benefits you. If you do have a momentum, you want to keep that momentum going on in the playoff. So it's kind of two-headed.
But I mean, in that time of the year, everybody has an ache or a pain.
True.
It's almost like when you have the number 1 seed, or you're right there around that number 1 seed, you're already kind of on the slowdown. Whereas you get a hot team like the Titans who are fighting to get in, and they're coming up. They're the hot team, and it's classic. It happens every year where you get that 1 or 2 teams that are the hot team, and don't nobody want to play them, and you get a team like the Titans doing what they're doing right now.
And it's funny you say that because Ravens were celebrating. Hey, we took the New Orleans Patriots out, put the Patriots out. But this was the tougher team to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they were excited about
They were a tougher team to play.
Brian, who'd you pick?
I was wrong with like everybody else. I picked the Ravens in this particular game, and I mean it was just I was yelling at the TV because I couldn't believe that Harbaugh was going 4 wide so early in the game. I'm like, what brought you here is what you continue to play with. Now it'd been different if he was down 2 or 3 scores. Then I understand. You were down a score, and you guys score all the time. They were 70% this year on 4th down. This game, like you said, they couldn't get 1, but it was just they just changed up too much.
You know what it was? I think that first 4th and short scared them.
It obviously didn't scare them because they kept trying it.
It was a momentum changer. It was
definitely a momentum changer, and it gave the Titans, the Titans went. You saw that defense went crazy after they stopped Lamar, and they showed in that play. Lamar actually didn't follow his fullback or his main blocker in that play.
Yeah, he went off.
And that's why it didn't.
Handed that one off to the running back. I know you want to sneak sometimes, but when you sneak, you got to go quick to catch them. But in that, they didn't go quick I feel like they should have maybe just handed that one off. They may have gotten it. I don't know, but that was key. That very first one was like when that happened. I even sat back like, oh, this is gonna be a problem.
And like Herman said, I mean, the way that Henry was running, I mean, the offensive line was just mushing the Ravens' defensive line back. I mean, there were gaping holes for this dude, and he's already a refrigerator with wheels. Once he gets going, how are you going to stop him? We all saw the play with
Earl Thomas.
with Earl Thomas, where he not only mushed Earl Thomas out the way, but did he act like he made Earl Thomas a blocker? He's like, hey, man, go ahead, knock that dude down for me. So, I mean, and that's going to be a classic play that you're going to see over and over every time. But Mark put up a good point. I mean, this is the second time that the Ravens went out in the first round of the playoffs, and it is going to put questions on Lamar's capability of getting them further. He did a great job in the regular season, but, you know, another one of these, then he becomes this guy who can't get him over the hump.
Well, you know, but that's an unfair judgment on Lamar because, you know, Peyton Manning, I think his first 6 seasons, I don't think he made
But he
the-
had that too. We dogged Peyton out about that.
He got dog for
We
that.
put it on that forever until he finally did it. He
Yeah.
just got to do it.
And Peyton didn't win an MVP in his first
2 years.
2 or 3 years either.
Yeah, that's true.
And congratulations, Lamar, for winning the MVP. You definitely deserved it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I got this one wrong too. Like I said, we all got it wrong. Derrick Henry is a man beast. That's what it boils down to. It looks like
You know, did you see the stat where he's the first player to rush for over 180 yards in back-to-back playoff games?
In 3 straight games. Because I think the last game of the season he must have had it too.
Yeah, three.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
Yeah,
did
so
that
3
last
straight
year.
games.
That's crazy.
The 180. You would think like maybe 100, maybe 120, 180.
Man, that's
They're
bad.
Madden numbers.
Yeah. And he always gets a big run in every playoff
He
game.
does not look like he is big enough to have that speed.
Yeah.
He's a linebacker running the football.
Yeah.
That's what
Yes.
it boils down to.
Now, see, you know what it is by the 25th carry, he's punished all the defense, and they're getting weaker and weaker. Like I don't really want to tackle that dude.
Dude, not even by the 25th carry. By about the 10th carry, they're looking like I'm not trying to get the tackle.
And it's so
It's
ironic
for real.
that play happened on Earl Thomas because remember Earl Thomas was the one who made the comment
Oh, yeah.
about New England saying that the New England defense players act like they didn't want to tackle him. Well, guess what? Y'all didn't want to tackle me either.
And, you know, I can't remember who it was, but there was an NFL player. It was Euro corner that's on ESPN.
Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark. And he was a safety. He was a safety. And he said that the reason why the people is they're not trying to do him, but he said you just have to go in there and just take one for the team.
Yeah.
You have to just run in there and just hit them the best you can with what you got.
Because it's going to slow him down.
It's going to slow them down. And nobody wants to do that right now.
Yeah, that's easy to say when you ain't the one doing it.
He did it now. He did do it in his career. So he could back it up.
Yeah, he did.
Well, the problem is players in form and tackling.
Yes.
If players will run through the tackle, I mean, you can stiff arm somebody, but if you're bringing your momentum like you should be and at the right leverage, you should be able to get through that stiff arm and take him down, or at least slow him down.
And the best thing the Titans defense did is they didn't let Lamar go off. He had like one nice run, but for the most part, he didn't just go off.
But they had a different plan. Their plan was to actually get him to the sidelines, which I thought would have been
They wanted him going east and west.
Who you talking about, Lamar? Or you talking about?
Lamar. They wanted him going east and
They
west.
wanted him going east and west. That would have scared me though, because if he does get to that sideline,
Yeah.
you know.
But they frustrated him the first time. Once he threw the interception, there was a lot of drop balls.
And that interception really technically,
It was
it
his
kind of hit,
fault.
but yeah, I don't know if he was a little behind the receiver, but it got tipped up in the air. What are you going to do? So.
Yeah, so let's move on to the next game, which was an interesting game at first. The Houston Texans on the road to see the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs were sleepwalking the first quarter, I'm going to say. Then they decided to wake up. I think Kansas City said, here, hold my beer. Second quarter.
Just real quick, while we were watching this game, it felt like the Titans-Ravens game.
It did.
It felt like, damn, the Chiefs are going to blow it too.
Because I remember I sent the text, I said, I am not watching this again.
Yeah.
Is this really happening? But they woke up and they started scoring, and they didn't stop scoring. I think, yeah, Kansas City just scored again. Final score was 51-31. Patrick Mahomes was 23 for 35, 321 yards passing, and 5 touchdowns. Deshaun Watson, 31 for 52.
Too many
Say it
passes.
again.
31 for 52. 388 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not a lot of run game. Dude, did the Texans not watch any film and know that they had to cover Kelsey?
You know what
Travis
ended up
Kelce?
happening is they lost that corner
Is that what it was?
that they were trying to keep Kelsey on in the
Okay.
first half, and then once he went out, the guy they put in just couldn't do nothing with him.
Dude, Kelsey had 10 receptions, 134 yards,
He
and
was
3
mad.
touchdowns.
He was mad.
It was ridiculous. It really
No,
was.
no. But you know when he got those 3 touchdowns in the second quarter,
yeah.
in less than 3 minutes.
Right. But yeah, I'll start this one off. I picked Kansas City. There was no way I was going to pick against Kansas City, and having a quick strike, potent offense, it'll get you out of a jam because obviously it did. Kansas City was down 21-0.
24.
24 to nothing. Yeah, 24 to nothing in the second quarter, and they came back and were winning by halftime.
Yes, they were leading by halftime.
Whose offense does that? Like
He
that's crazy.
Mahomes threw 4 touchdowns in the second quarter.
Yes, he did.
That's crazy. So I picked this one right. You can't sleep on Kansas City, man. As bad as their defense is, or as bad as their defense can be and fluctuating, this offense can bail them out.
Their defense has actually got a lot better over the last couple of weeks.
It has gotten
better.
a lot better. That's
It
why,
has.
that's why I didn't want to say bad as it, but yeah, it's fluctuated. But Mark, who'd you have on this one?
This one I took Kansas City also. Like you said, it's almost like Kansas City say, look, we're gonna get them, we're gonna spot them 24 points, and then we're gonna run. And there was no panic. There was no panic on Kansas City's sidelines,
Especially
at
by
all.
Mahomes.
None at all. I think the key turnaround in this game was 24-0. McKeel Hardman then got the kickoff return and ran a nice return back, got into Houston territory, and they scored.
Yep.
They got the
They punted.
the
And
ball.
they muffed the
back,
punt.
and
They
fumbled
muffed the
ball,
punt.
and then Houston got it, and they scored again. Then they had that crazy
Fourth down, let's
call
take it on.
that they stopped them.
Yeah.
That was it. It was
And
a
they
wrap.
scored
They were back in
again.
this game whatsoever. I think another funny note in this game is, they shoot fireworks every time they score a touchdown. Kansas City ran
Ran
out
out
of fireworks.
fireworks. Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I took the Chiefs. They were victorious.
Brian.
Yeah, I was with you two guys. I also picked the Chiefs. And, I mean, the first quarter, you thought the Texans had the same type of juice that the Titans had to actually knock the Kansas City Chiefs out again. And I was thinking, Andy Reid, this is your best opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. You don't got to go through the Patriots. You definitely ain't got to go through those Ravens. And I know you were a little nervous about that one. You can beat the Texans. You can beat the Titans. So this is your golden rule, and you're letting it slip through your fingers. But he had Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes was on the sideline telling everybody, calm down, ain't no problem. We got this.
Kept them poised.
He did. And while, like Herman said, while they double-teamed the 2 wide receivers, Kelsey was going off on them, everywhere.
And Sammy Watkins didn't have a bad game.
Watkins had all of them really had a good game, because at some point you're trying to do something different, but they scored 41 unanswered points, 41 unanswered points when you're down. You gave up 24. It just was they didn't stop scoring. I think it was 7 scores in a row. I think it was total 7 scores in a row. That joint is crazy. I didn't even know how they got the field goal in there, but I don't know why they didn't just throw a damn touchdown. But all I kept thinking about in this game was Marcus laughing at the Texans head coach Bill O'Brien, and he is being lambasted.
He should be lambasted.
That he
He
made.
was going to fire that dude. I was like, is he going to get fired?
Well, he's the
He
general
should be
manager.
fired.
He would have the owner have to go say, "We're firing the general manager and the owner."
Marcus, who'd you pick?
I picked the Chiefs. To me, this game, I think we're looking at these two teams. This is this decade's the Patriots and the Colts. I'm sorry, Peyton and Tom Brady, Deshaun and Patrick Mahomes. They're gonna match them up every year. They're gonna match it because this is gonna be a great game every year. And the Texans can come out on top if they get rid of their damn head coach. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. Bill O'Brien is garbage. That's how you be.
They beat them in regular season, though.
They did.
They did, but still, you up 24 to nothing, and the Texans did this last week. They didn't play for a half, and then they turned it on in the second half. This week they played in 1.5 or 1 quarter basically, and didn't do anything the rest of the game. They're not a full team game, a full game team. They're not a full game team, and that's because of coaching. And I love Deshaun Watson. I think I think he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks in the league for years to come. But he won't get over that hump until they get rid of that coach. I mean,
because his play is above the coaching.
Yeah. I mean, you got all that talent. I mean, it's just like the Cowboys were. All that talent and the coaching is just terrible. And the Cowboys learned. I don't see why the Texans can't learn. So
it took the Cowboys 10 years to learn.
Well, you got your quarterback. You got DeAndre Hopkins. You got your team is there. Your time is very limited. Get rid of Bill O'Brien and get somebody in there that can help you get over the hump.
And it was like crazy too because Hopkins got injured in that game a little bit, like after they were down when they really needed him to be in the game. And I just don't understand why the Texans didn't run the ball. I just don't get it.
Hyde had 13 carries, 44 yards.
Okay, my defense cannot stop them. I need to slow this game down. I need to shorten this game and get out of here with a win. But I mean, how you gonna let somebody score in 3 minutes? 3 minutes.
You could run over. I mean, you could run on them.
Absolutely, and it was kind of crazy too because what was the name? They had 94 yards rushing, but you know who the leading rusher was for Kansas City?
Mahomes.
Yep. 53 yards.
7 carries, 53 yards.
Yep.
That's crazy. All right, so let's move on to the last game of the weekend, and this was probably, I guess, the best game. It was the closest anyway. The Seattle Seahawks, they traveled to Green Bay to take on the Packers, but they couldn't pull it out. They lost 28-23. This game it was probably the closest scoring game, but it was kind of boring to me. I don't know.
It was very boring.
Okay, I thought it was just me. Aaron Rodgers was 16 for 27, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns. Russell Wilson was 21 for 31, 277 yards, and 1 touchdown. Russell Wilson, man, he was doing it all. They got to get that dude some help.
Yeah, he was the leading rusher. He was the leading rusher too.
He sure was.
He was doing it all. It just like as soon as he dropped back on that on his plant foot, it was just duck and cover. He was never really looking because he knew he had to get out of that pocket. He never had any time. But I'll let you start this one off, Marcus.
I picked Green Bay. I'm also a big fan of Russell Wilson. But like you said, it's all him. And I think the problem is that big contract he signed, now he can't afford to get anybody around him anymore.
It's not his fault.
I know that, but he definitely needs help. And for Seattle to remain a contender, and I think they'll always be a contender as long as Russell Wilson's there. They got to give him some more help. Because the Green Bay, the game was in Green Bay. I picked Green Bay because it was a home game. But Seattle could have very easily have won this game if they could have just put some more drives together.
You know what Seattle was missing?
What's that?
Their running game. They lost their running backs. They lost 3 of their running backs.
I think signing
Beast Mode
Marshawn Lynch was a mistake.
It was. If they were going to use it, they didn't really use it. They kept using that other guy.
Yeah, Alfred Morris was in training camp with us, and I mean, so he had, he played more recently. Marshawn Lynch did nothing. And it's like you said, like they didn't use him out. When they did use him, man, he couldn't even get a yard at times. I was like, you can't get a yard? Like Marshawn Lynch? It was ugly. So.
It was. And when they lost their running game, it was all Russell. It was all Russell, a rookie wide receiver, and Lockett. They didn't even really they had a good tight end in the early season, lost him too.
If they had their running game, if Chris Carson had been healthy and Penny, they would have won that game.
Yes. I stopped watching this game after a while because I'm like, the Green Bay got this game. And then I creep back on there, and I'm like, Seattle's coming back.
But it was too much for Russell Wilson to do. He couldn't. Were you done, Mark? Sorry, we kind of just.
Yeah, I was done.
Mark, who'd you have?
Yeah, Packers is what chose in this one. I thought the Smith brothers was going to be effective than they were. Both of them got 2 sacks each. But on the Marshawn Lynch thing, he's good in short yardage. He got him 2 touchdowns, 2 short touchdowns. I think he's worth something as far as that's concerned. But another crazy call in his game that was questionable was the first down that kept Green Bay drive going.
Yeah,
That
with the
ball
tight
was
end.
Not over the first down mark.
I didn't see it
not.
either.
It was not. They gave them the momentum and gave them to keep the downs going, and they ran the clock down. But Seattle, hats off to them. They had a fantastic season. I think a lot of injuries, like you said before, the running back got them in trouble. DK Metcalf didn't really do too much in this particular game, also. But the Smith brothers really did. They put pressure on him all day long. I took the Packers.
Brian?
I agreed. I also picked the Packers in this particular game, and you guys brought up a lot of great points. And do you know that the one particular stat that I found amazing is that Russell Wilson is now 0-4 in Lambeau?
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yes, I did.
It's a hard place to win.
Yeah.
It is. It's almost as bad as Gillette Stadium, for real. But I picked the Packers on this one too. I didn't feel like the Seattle could do it just because, like we said, the run game.
Yeah.
That was huge for them during the year. I had their running back in my fantasy team, so he was always putting up good stats and good numbers. But Mark, like you said, Marshawn did get them 2 touchdowns, but it was critical short yardage first downs he couldn't get. That could have kept drives alive, and that's where they just. I don't know if they would have just been better to roll with. They had that one guy, Homer, and let Marshawn come in, but it kind of. I don't know if that threw his groove off or.
Yeah, but I don't know. Homer just didn't seem like the same type of running back they had all season.
No, he definitely wasn't. Yeah. So, all right. So that reviews the week's games. We'll get into the championship games and do our picks. How'd y'all do this week?
3-1.
3. I think we all picked the same, didn't we? The only one we picked wrong was
Mr. Lone Wolf.
Yeah. I wish he was here to wear this damn hat 2 times, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 times he would be wearing the hat.
Which game was it he chose?
So yes, Mr. Calhoun. Let's see some ow and dunce cap from you in the chat there, buddy.
We'll Photoshop it and put it on his head.
Yeah. Good idea. All right, so we'll get into some of the hot topics this week. A couple things that broke this week. Let's start off with the first thing that happened after the Vikings were eliminated from the playoffs. The Cleveland Browns hired Vikings offensive coordinator Stefanski.
Kevin Stefanski.
What do you guys think about this?
Who?
Kevin Stefanski. He's 37 years old. He's basically been with the Vikings organization since 2006. He joined them as an assistant to the head coach, and he's had various offensive coordinator, type positions, wide receivers, tight end coaches. He's the 18th head coach that Cleveland has hired.
Since they
came back.
Oh,
he was in the running last year with him and Kitchens. They ended up going with Kitchens, and I guess they felt like they're trying to fix their mistake now.
The guy, so that their GM that they fired, what was his name?
Dorsey. John Dorsey.
Dorsey wanted Kitchens. The other guy that they didn't fire, who they said is kind of
the analytics type dude. Yeah.
He wanted the fancy.
Yeah. So now he got his man. They got their analytics. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So you say this is the 18th head coach?
Yeah.
Since they've been back in the league.
Yeah.
In contrast, the Dallas Cowboys only have 9 head coaches in the whole entire franchise.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's wild.
Well, shoot, the Steelers have only had 3
since 19.
No, we've had more than 3
since 1970.
Since 70.
Okay.
Since the 70s.
Okay.
I think it's a good hire because he's an offensive minded coach, and their defense is pretty set. You just got to get somebody to run it. They got a lot of talent on defense. They need guidance on the offensive side. Baker Mayfield needs guidance. And so I think that's the idea that I think behind this hire.
Because there was a young quarterback that he helped out. Stefanski helped out pretty well. I can't remember right now.
Well, I mean,
who? Just Kevin?
No, it wasn't Case Keenum. It was somebody else.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Was it,
Maybe
yeah,
it was
'cause he was,
Bridgewater.
he was the
Maybe it
quarterback's
was
coach at
Bridgewater,
Virginia,
yeah.
and for the Vikings before he became the OC,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Yeah, so
So-
Ted Bridgewater.
I think that's the thought behind this offense or behind this hire. So um, it's funny because they said they were going to choose between him and the 49ers defensive coordinator.
But the funny part is that they spent all that time with the Patriots offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
They spent like 7 hours with him. He had his wife come down. I mean, I thought it was a done deal.
If I was guessing, I thought they were going to go with Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
it really did look that way, and I guess they pulled on Josh what Josh did to
Yeah,
Colts.
to the Colts.
Come on,
Because
baby.
they were saying that he, I guess there was probably certain things that Josh wanted to have, certain controls and things. Maybe, Kevin didn't necessarily have to have,
Yeah.
but who knows?
And that's probably, when you get somebody like a Kevin Stefanski or the guy from the 49ers, while you're the hot coordinator, you don't have the pull to really demand
Right.
personnel stuff
Right.
and certain things.
True.
So, easier pick here. Hopefully it'll be successful. I mean, since the Browns are in the AFC, I don't care about their success as much. I'd like to see them finally maybe win.
I would too. I would love for them to beat up on the Steelers and the Ravens.
Oh.
It would just make that division better.
I tell you, the first thing
I don't have any Browns fans, so it would be nice to shut the other ones up.
I think the first course of action we probably do is probably tell you quarterback stop making all these commercials and throw some touchdowns.
It's not the commercial.
It's not really commercial, just the press conferences and all the other crap.
We're gonna have some mock press
But
conferences.
a lot of this starts in the front office. It starts up top. You gotta get better structure in place. We should see. We'll see. Also heard they were looking at Steve Wilkes as a defense coordinator and another kid Woods they were looking at as far as their coordinator as far as defense.
What makes me a little nervous about this particular hires for this particular team is, again, you're getting a new head coach trying to coach these guys that are big personalities. I mean, Odell, so right now is still on the team. Baker Mayfield is still on the team. You got a lot of extra with them than you would, any other team. So I don't know. I kind of thought like maybe a more seasoned head coach. I really thought like either McCarthy or the Rivera would have been a better choice for Cleveland. No, I'm just saying.
They were already taken.
Yeah. No, they weren't at. I mean, at the time, I think Cleveland had interviewed. He didn't interview Rivera, but I think they had talked to McCarthy.
They did talk to McCarthy, I think. Yeah, I think that again. I think it was all about we got to find an offensive guy. I mean, if you look at who they
and an analytical guy, he wanted somebody that would agree with their analytics thing.
I think they interviewed Bieniemy too.
Yeah, which was kind of shocking too.
And and then McDaniel. So they went more heavy, and then McCarthy. They went more heavy offensive than they did defensive. I can't think of besides the 49ers. What's his name again?
Robert Saleh.
Besides him, I can't think of who else they might have interviewed that was defensive. So I think they kind of went into this thinking we're going to go offensive hire, So, but we'll see. Hopefully,
yeah. Good luck to you.
yeah. Hopefully they can be competitive. They got a lot of talent.
They
It's
do,
just a matter of putting it together.
and the patience of the fan base.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to which was a topic of the Rooney Rule. Everybody, I'm sure you're familiar with the Rooney Rule. This requires teams to interview a minority coach before they make any type of decisions. What's y'all's opinion on this? Stephen A. Smith went off about the Rooney Rule. It feels like it's a bunch of BS. I don't agree with Stephen A. Smith a whole lot, but when it comes to this one, I actually agree with Stephen A. Smith. These teams, they bring in this minority coach first off the bat, give them this little 5-minute interview, and then they go on to the people that they really plan on hiring. As a offensive coordinator or as the minority coach, you're in a lose-lose situation because if you turn down the interview because you feel like you're a pawn, you don't get a chance to go through the experience, so you'll never have experience doing it. But when you go to it,
You already know you're not getting the
yeah,
job.
it's just a joke. So,
What?
what's y'all's opinion?
I'm sorry that the fifth beater was woohooing for some particular reason. I don't know what he's woohooing
He's
about.
supposed to be ah-ooh for the.
Oh, is that what that
He's
is?
supposed to be ah-ooh for the-
Oh, okay.
Well, how late is the delay on this? Because that's mad.
It is a little late. Yeah, it's a little late, but never late than never. We'll bring that hat over to visit you.
Yeah.
So just real quick, like there were 5 total jobs that were open this year, and only really one minority, Ron Rivera, was hired by the Washington Redskins. Currently, there are only 4 um, minority coaches: Mike Tomlin, Anthony Lynn, Brian Flores, and now Ron Rivera. And there is only one minority GM in the NFL working right now, and that's with the Dolphins. His name is Chris Greer. So it's a really sad day, when you sit back and think about it. I mean, I was going through, like, we were talking about who they hired, who they brought in, and all these things. Like, I know Dallas had brought in Cleveland's old head coach,
Yeah,
and
Mark Lou.
and that's it. And then they hired who they wanted. And then I don't know who the Panthers brought in.
They did be enemy too.
They did bring BM in. Okay, so I know BM was there. I know he was there with Cleveland, and I mean BM has been a hot topic for the last 2 years. I mean, what you just did against the Texans, and that's your offense. I mean, yeah, Andy Reid is there, but it's just kind of sad that I mean, we don't even have any GMs. We got one GM that's a minority, and it's definitely falling on some issues. We got to do much better than this. It was really depressing looking at this stuff, trying to see what we have and what's going on. There was really not a lot of positivity in this research.
Yeah, basically, the room rule it's a farce. It's Stephen A. was correct. It's a farce. You just bring him in there to meet the requirement, and then you have no intention of hiring him. I mean, look at
Third Beatle said Cleveland needs Garrett. I actually don't think that's a bad idea. But go ahead, Marcus. I'm sorry.
So I mean, look at who they hire. So what's his name? Matt LaFleur. When he got hired, his offense the year before, I think, was 27th ranked in offense. Yeah, he gets the Packers head coach job.
Adam Gase is another one. I mean, he was garbage in Miami. And he gets
turned
another
around and
shot
went
with
to
the Jets.
immediately.
Yeah, and then
his claim to fame is coaching Peyton Manning. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then, much as I do love Cliff Kingsbury, because I was a big Texas Tech fan while he was there. I mean, he was under 500 as a college football coach. Got fired from Texas Tech. Was supposed to be the OC at USC. And then he gets hired in Arizona. I mean,
and a black coach gets fired.
Yeah. I mean, how does that? I mean, there's
after 1 year too.
And there are plenty of assistants in the tree or in the queue. There's a lot of POC, people of color, minorities they can look at to fill these positions. It's just that they're not, for some reason. I think a couple years ago, what they really had like 7 or 8 minority head coaches, and now it's down to what we got now, 4 now. So and they also don't get the opportunities, like 1 or 2 seasons, bad seasons, they're out.
I think you hit it on the head, Marcus. The opportunity, they don't get it. The only coach I can think of right now, on top of my head, who had the longevity was Marvin Lewis
And Denny Green.
You're right. Yeah, that's right.
But Marvin Lewis probably had the longest in one
How about your own?
Tomlin. He's been.
Tomlin does, man.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
He's talking about,
Remember
he's talking
his-
about-
Oh, you mean okay? Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry.
But it's a good old boy system. This is what it is. Like, it's about who you know.
Yeah.
Who was it they were talking about was a ball boy? Somebody who just got hired?
Yeah, Shannon Sharp said it, didn't they? So, it's a ball.
Yeah, they talked about somebody was a ball boy.
The Giants head coach.
Might have been. I don't remember. But somebody was a ball boy.
Maybe Kyle Shanahan was a ball boy.
Yeah, it was. That's what he was talking about. It was Kyle Shanahan talking about how Kyle Shanahan was a ball boy. Everywhere his dad went. His dad. He was there with his dad. His dad was his dad. There was his dad. And now, he's a head coach. I mean, and he did do some of it on his merit, but
I mean, he does have a great offense.
Yeah, he is good. He is good.
But so is Eric Bieniemy.
True.
But he doesn't get that.
True.
There's no way that. Why is Cleveland hiring Stefanski over Bieniemy?
Right.
You know what I mean? 2 offensive coordinators, both in the playoffs, and
I mean, there's no question on who had the better offense this year.
yeah.
I mean, Minnesota or Kansas City. There's no doubt.
Question. So, But then you could reverse it and you could look at some of the like Greg Roman. He didn't. And he's Caucasian for
The Ravens.
The Ravens, yeah.
Like look what he did too. So some of it is all about who you know. Some of it is about, I guess, who you feel comfortable with. You can take that for what it is. And then some of it is just this dumb, I'm smarter than everybody else, and this is who I'm going to hire, like the Giants hiring freaking wide receivers coach, special teams coach. Like they just wake up winning every year. You're like, it don't matter. Let me get the
now
first down
they're interviewing
guy.
Garrett as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, let me get the first down marker guy. He's going to go. Like what? Well, he was the first down marker guy for every Super Bowl. It's crazy.
I mean, at the pace they're going, they're going to wind up hiring one year. They're going to wind up hiring the Madden Bowl champion.
Yeah,
Did you see that offense he ran?
Yeah, they should offense he ran on Madden. That's great.
I mean, I can even understand some of the hot college coaches that they want to go after. I can kind of get that. But when you pull the crap like the Giants did, this freaking special teams coach, that's all about.
The Giants. Who did they interview else? I
think they interviewed Bieniemy too.
Okay.
He should be really upset. He's the
poster boy for
the token interview for every team. Next year he needs to get a job. Next year
you're absolutely right, Marcus. He does need to get a job.
It's crazy.
The only sad thing is he's probably going to get a job from like Anthony Lynn or somebody like that.
But yeah, let's move on.
And also, Brian Leftwich. I mean, you can say what you want about Jameis Winston. He did lead the league in passing yards. Why Brian Leftwich?
He didn't even get an interview.
Didn't even get an interview.
Didn't get interviewed. Nope.
He's going to be okay though.
Yeah, and this is only his second season.
Yeah, it's his second season. He's under somebody who will groom him to, hopefully he'll get something too. But I don't know when it changes. I don't know that it. The NFL can't force owners to hire people that they can't force it. All they can do is try to put things in place to make it
That's why the rooming rule.
Now, if the fans would get together and make a stink like they did with the kneeling and all that other stuff, then I think the owners would listen. But until then, they're gonna hire.
Like it did. It was years ago. Jim Fossil was that the Redskins? Yeah, that was the Redskins. Yeah, with the Redskins up behind Jim Fossil, and the fans made an uproar, and it was like, nah, okay, no.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
I do remember that. Yeah,
it was the fans that put a kibosh on that one.
All right, so let's move on. Let's get into Luke Kuechly. He retired from the NFL today at the age of 28, I believe.
Yes.
He looked weird to me on the video. I think he's had way too many concussions. Glad to see that he's getting out. Hopefully his health will be good. But we're starting to see this a little bit more. These players are starting to understand and realize that all those millions of dollars, it don't do you no good if you can't enjoy it and have health at the end of your career. So, quick round the table. What you guys think about these early retirements?
I think it's smart. I think that they're making the right decision for their bodies. There's so many great NFL players now that are permanently crippled. The thing is that what we don't seem to understand is that the NFL is not a lifetime job. Most players are 5 years. 3 to 5 years. There are some few that get there 10. There's some in there that's 20, but it's a very few that get that far. And these guys are crippled for the rest of their lives for the entertainment of us. I mean, like you heard me say, we got Luke Kuechly, we had Gronk retired, Andrew Luck retired, Cam Chancellor, he had neck issues.
The wide receiver from Detroit, he retired early. What was it?
Yeah, Calvin Johnson, he retired. Even way back, you remember Barry Sanders retired early, and I mean, you got to think further in life. I mean, this kid has had a lot of concussions, and although he was like one of the most talented linebackers ever, I mean, he won the MVP defensive player in 2013. Is it really worth it? What are you going to do when you can't even pick up your kid or, hug your wife because you have mental issues because you got to stay in the dark? Like, what's the quarterback for Chicago?
Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon. He wears dark sunglasses all the time, not because he wants to be cool, because he can't stand the light.
Yeah.
He's always in dark rooms and stuff. I mean, it's just sad, I mean, he was a great player, and I love watching him play, but when it's all said and done, it's best that you do go out and be healthy.
I think it's smart too. I agree because these teams will get rid of you, and they feel
That's
like
the
your
other
skills
thing.
are going
Yep.
down.
Yep.
So if you feel like it's time to go, walk away from the game. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe them any.
Like you said, this kind of, he makes me a little nervous that he's going to come back.
You think so? I don't
I
know.
don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't know. The way he said I
That
could still
video
play.
looked
And
I don't know.
He looked bad in that video.
He did.
He looked like.
you
had a
remember that
stroke
one
on
time
him.
he had that one concussion and he like broke down because he's like, God damn, another concussion.
Yeah.
He knew it.
I mean, but his conference, I don't think I don't think he will. He says he feels like this is the right thing to do. I just think financially he's he's in a good position to do it. I'd say I'm all for it. If you can do it or step out early age and on your terms, definitely do it.
And he's talking about being in coaching too, so he's still gonna try to be around the game.
All right. So last topic, real quick, then we get into our
Well,
picks.
one more thing, another veteran NFL player retired too, Gates.
Yeah, Antonio Gates.
Antonio
He's
Gates.
been in there a while though.
I wouldn't say his was
He
early.
retired when this year?
Not early,
He just
but
put in
he-
his retirement papers, but
Did he even play this year?
no team had him on it last year, so he ended up retiring. But he leads the league in touchdown passes by a tight end.
So today, Larry, in the contrast to that, Larry Fitzgerald announced that he's coming back for a
Yes.
17th season.
Yes.
And he's staying with the Cardinals. Just real quick, my opinion, Larry Fitzgerald, you have shown your loyalty. Go play for a contender, bro. Go get you a ring. Like, he loves the game. He's loyal. He's shown his loyalty, and they paid him. Go get you a ring, because not only you're coming back and showing loyalty, but you are hampering the development of a young player.
True.
For Arizona.
You feel like he's hampering Kyler Murray?
He's taking a position.
Not Kyler Murray.
Not Kyler Murray, but you're the wide
Oh,
receiver.
so-
that
okay.
could be trying. He's taking the position. He's taking reps.
That he can play with Kyler Murray and play for a little while. So I mean, that's just my opinion. But he's shown his loyalty. Go get a ring.
Hey, just real quick, did you guys hear about the Falcons and their new uniforms?
Yes.
So
Yes.
normally it's like a 2-year process for you to go with the NFL and get approved for new uniforms.
Right.
Normally the team will announce, hey, we're trying to get new uniforms, whatever. The Falcons have been going through this process for 2 years and have just announced this week that they're going to change the uniforms. So all the fans that bought uniforms all last year for Christmas, for all that stuff, is going to be obsolete because they're coming out with new uniforms.
So the fans now really want to get refunds for the uniform.
And they're like one of the first teams to do it. Most of the other teams, they'll let the fans know, hey, we're going to get some new uniforms and stuff.
Well, kind of. Detroit did this. They switched up within the 2 or 3 years too, where they changed the color scheme within a short period of time. But this one, they kept the same colors. They just redesigned it a little bit.
Yeah.
But this one, they changed it all the way.
All together.
Oh, wow.
And then just real quick, there's like a little controversy going on about the national championship game. As you all know, LSU won that game, and Odell Beckham was at the game. To celebrate the win, he had a bag of money and was passing it out to all the LSU players. But of course, we all know that can possibly be a violation, and some of these kids may not be able to play because they took this money from Odell Beckham. So Odell's been getting a lot of flack, like, why would you do this, da-da-da, so. Joe Burrow, who was the winning quarterback, he didn't care. He's like, hey, my eligibility's done. I'm going to the NFL, so it's whatever. But there are some kids that didn't do it, and they're trying to say, Odell is stealing their shine and not letting them just celebrate for their stuff. And then on the contrast, I don't know if you guys even heard about this. There was Edelman had gotten stupid drunk and ended up like jumping up and down and vandalizing somebody's Mercedes. Now, I don't know if any of y'all have ever heard this because it was like a blip on the sports scene and was gone.
It was. You're right.
But this Odell thing is blowing up like crazy.
Hardly at all.
Right. So, is there some type of thing where, they're just picking on Odell? Or, because between the two, although Odell's is bad, what Edelman did is a criminal charge. It's actually a lot worse. So I didn't know what you guys thought about that. Is there like a double standard? Why does this New England Patriot who has, been tested for PEDs and now is doing this crazy stuff, doesn't hardly get a peep, but, Odell's passing out some dollars to some college kids and all of a sudden it's a big flag.
Yeah.
Hey, for future reference, Holly, don't be changing subjects like that so damn fast. Okay? I can't be getting the background something like that.
We need a new producer. That's all it is. We need a new producer.
That's
Arian, if you watch it, come on home, buddy. You start going to school on the internet.
That's what they do, man. That's what the media does. They want to blow up. They want to sensationalize who they feel like is the more controversial figure. Edelman's the good, clean patriot who plays for the New England Patriots, and he's the good guy. He just got a little too drunk. Oh, how dare you, Odell Beckham, give some kids some money and ruin their eligibility?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that is pretty bad for the kids.
Point, but
I
I
don't
mean,
think Odell was thinking about
yeah,
that.
and I'll bet you right now, none of those kids get in trouble for taking.
I don't know. The NCAA is mad petty, yo. Mad petty.
They kind of made it like a prank, is what it was supposed to be.
No, because first there was a rumor that the money was fake, but they've already come out and said, "No, that was real money. He gave us cash."
No, that was real money.
And the NCAA is mad petty. They are mad petty.
You're right. They are, Marcus. He wasn't. I don't think he did it to hurt the other. I just honestly think he wasn't thinking. He was down there just.
Well, he had to been thinking because he had to think. I got to go to the bank. I got to get this money.
But I'm sure he'll slide some more money under the table so they can get back what he gave them. You know what I mean? It'll make it look good or whatever. So they'll clean it up, I'm sure. Hopefully, because you don't want to ruin some kids' eligibility.
And this is the last thing I'm gonna bring up real quick, and then we're gonna get to the picks. But Joe Brady was the LSU offensive coordinator. This had this big run, and he is now the new offensive coordinator for the Panthers.
Oh, so, that quick?
Yeah.
Wow.
So what they were trying to say on, Sports Talk was talking around is like maybe the Panthers package some players, try to move up, get Joe Burrow, and have Joe Burrow. They have his offensive coordinator. They can start fresh.
You got to give up. You got to give up McCaffrey.
Yeah. Oh well, I don't know if they want
to
to
get
do
the
that.
number one.
Yeah. Well, just give him.
You got to give him.
He can't.
You know what's crazy is so Joe Brady and the rest of the LSU staff, they went to the Saints and talked to Sean Payton and Drew Brees, and that's what their offense this year was based off the Saints offense.
Really?
Yes.
And LSU's offense has never been able to get over the hump until this year.
Yeah. They were known for low scoring games until this year.
That's gonna be an interesting thing to watch for the draft, though.
Yes.
That's that.
I mean, between this team with the offensive and the new coach, and then Arizona still, progressing, it's going to be pretty interesting.
When did he get hired? Today?
I believe it was today.
Wow. All right, let's get into these picks. We won't have a whole lot of time, so there's gonna be some quick picks.
Brian been running his mouth too damn much.
Well, there's only 2 games.
It is only 2 games. But it's 9:00 and we're getting to the 2 games.
Eddie Kane kept throwing in all
My
this
bad.
stuff.
There's so much going on, and I'm like, damn, we got to talk about this. Damn, we got to talk
We
about
could
that.
have rushed through the other games, but anyway. First game is going to be Sunday afternoon or Sunday early evening game.
3:05.
You got the Titans visiting the Chiefs. Let's start it off, Marcus. Who you got?
I'm a little bit worried because about the Chiefs defense. Derrick Henry is he is stacking on them yards and just stacking on them yards. But I got to go with the Chiefs. Offense is hot right now. I mean, they pulled it out last week, even though they were behind. But I believe the Chiefs, they have to score early and quick and keep scoring, so that the Tennessee Titans don't just hog the clock up and keep running on them. And because I have no faith in their defense being able to stop Derrick Henry. Nobody else has in the last 3 weeks. I don't believe the Kansas City Chiefs defense is. But as long as they get out there early and keep scoring points, I think the Chiefs will win this game.
Who you got, Mark?
Ball control, ball control, ball control. That's all I can say about the Titans in this game. The Titans have beaten them the last 4 times that they played them. The most recent game was the Week 10, 35-32. Before that, it was 2017. They had lost them. They had beaten them in a wild card game. If the blueprint of beating Kansas City is keeping Mahomes and them off the bench, and each game that the Kansas City have lost this year, the running backs have rushed for over 100 yards. With that said, I think I'm going to go with the Titans on this one, y'all.
What?
I'm taking the Titans.
I think that I'm gonna go with the pump. The Cinderella's going to turn into the pumpkin. I think that we're going to see this crazy anomaly this week and the Chiefs defense is going to shut down Derrick Henry. I don't know why. I just feel like it's going to happen. The Chiefs with that offense, I feel like they can come back from anything. I mean, we saw it this past week. So I'm going with the Chiefs. I thought about it for a minute, but I'm going with the Chiefs. I think that Cinderella turns back into her pumpkin, and she's going to be an ugly pumpkin. Brian?
Yeah, I'm glad you pushed that down there, Mark, because you can go ahead and howl. Although I did kind of struggle a little bit with this game, and I do see the scenario where Derrick Henry does go off, keeps Mahomes on the bench, and wins a close one at the end. But I don't know, man. The way the Chiefs played last week, I mean, that, like Herman said, I think they just scored again. I mean, it's just ridiculous how many times that they got down the field and just got a touchdown. And it's just the Titans just don't have enough firepower. And if they get up by 2 touchdowns, you can cancel Christmas because then they got to start passing. And Derrick Henry is no longer a factor. So give me Kansas City.
Fifth Beatle, wait before you. Oh, yeah. Well, you can howl. But Fifth Beatle says Chiefs also. He says high-scoring game.
Let's go.
All right, so the NFC Championship game, we got the 49ers at home against the Packers. Brian, who you got?
I'm going with the 49ers on this one. The Packers didn't play that great against Seattle. They were actually the better team and let Russell Wilson try to sneak back into that game. San Francisco is a whole nother beast, and the Packers are going to their house. I don't see it happening. I see them running all over the Packers. I don't see Aaron Rodgers being the Aaron Rodgers that he always is. I think the 49ers roll.
Marcus?
This is going to be a good game. This is hard for me to pick. But
Why?
I'm going to pick the Packers.
Come on. Whoa. Why is this hard for you? Why is this a horrible game?
I said it's going to be I said a hard game for me to pick. That's a hard game.
Okay.
I said it's going to be a good game. Why don't you listen before you speak?
Okay, because
slide your dumps cap in front of you so we see it.
Oh, where is it?
No, you keep that readily handy.
Right.
So I think Aaron Rodgers is going to pull it out. He's going to come in here and work some magic. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a close game. Definitely won't be any blowouts. I think this one will go down, probably come down to a field goal. And then we'll have a repeat of the first Super Bowl ever, the Chiefs versus the Packers. So I'm picking the Packers.
You know what, Marcus? That worries me about it because I think the football gods would love to see that happening. But you see that dunce cap? You're going to be wearing it.
Yeah, I'm with Brian and Mark. I'm going with the 49ers. I think what we're looking at in the Super Bowl is one of the best offenses against one of the best defenses. And we're going to see who really wins championships. So I'm going with the 49ers. I can't see a scenario where the Packers can pull this game out. The 49ers defense is shutting down all types of different offenses. I just don't see it. So,
I mean, Dalvin Cook had 18 yards.
Yeah.
And they're healthy.
You think Jones is going to do better?
2 words: Aaron Rodgers, magic.
Yeah, but who's he throwing to? Who's he throwing to?
Yeah,
Don't matter.
He's throwing to Devontae Adams.
He can throw. He will.
Oh, and what's the other guy's name? The Spanish dude with the two names. Anyway, the other wide receiver, he has like a hurt ankle or something. He ain't practiced. But just one of them. No, Kittle didn't practice either. Kittle's a little banged up.
Oh, okay. Well,
but I'm still going with the 9.
all right. The fifth Beatle didn't chime in. Oh, there he goes.
Niners.
He went with the Niners.
Niners. Niners.
Still texting the driver. I will think.
Oh, wait. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought he put high scoring Henry off the field. I thought he was going to say Henry goes off. Go ahead.
But thank y'all for joining the show. We're doing a show. Yeah, we're doing the show next week, right?
Yeah.
No game next week is the Pro Bowl, but we do have.
Oh, yeah, we'll do a review. Yeah, maybe not as long, but yeah, we do.
We'll do a review.
Yeah. Well, not only that, and then the Hall of Famers will be announced then too.
Yeah. So
Speaking of, congratulations Jimmy Johnson and congratulations Bill Cowher.
Donnie Shell.
Drew Pearson, you'll get in. Don't worry about it. Hopefully, before it's not postmortem.
Jesus.
But thanks y'all for joining the show. We really appreciate y'all watching, and even if you come back and watch it another day, appreciate it. Marcus? Take us out.
Before we leave, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe. Like the channel. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Help us get those likes up. Brian, this is your part.
And you can also follow us on that delay of Game 3. Hopefully, all of us on this panel will do that as well. You can live tweet the show, questions, answers. We'd like to be much more interactive with you guys. Find out exactly what you want to talk about and make the show the best that it can be.
So hopefully we'll have some good games to talk about next week. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We out. Peace.
Peace and hair cream.